what I started doing was learning more about shooting video. Now, keep in mind, at this time, I didn't have a video editor. I didn't even have I had like the Photoshop Express. So it wasn't an in-depth editor, right. But because I shoot to get the image perfect in camera, I didn't really need it. So then I shot some COVID videos. My first satire videos, and I think I still have one of them. I'll let you see it once we stop recording. I shot some COVID videos that I was just going to post on Facebook. And Facebook, for anybody out there watching, Facebook is for family and friends. Yep. It's nothing but family and people that I went to high school with 20 years ago. And so posted these videos and the reaction was phenomenal. Like people were commenting, they were sharing. Well, they were asking me to make them public to share. And so I did on some of them. But I edited all of those from an iPhone 6. And in my house, because my kids now have phones, my wife has a phone, I get the crappy phone.
Yeah, of course.
So got the iPhone 6 and edited these videos and then started looking at doing sound design. So I looked at mics. I started looking into lights and everything else to start to create a YouTube channel because I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. Well, I set everything up. I spent the money. I got everything I needed. And I was like, what am I going to shoot? What kind of content am I going to create? Right. I'm not just going to sit here and stare at the camera and be like, oh, look at this setup.
And nobody's giving you an assignment.
Yeah. So one of my first YouTube videos, I built a softbox out of a diaper box and some copier paper. Okay. Don't ask me why I thought this was a good idea. I built it and I shared the video on YouTube. The video got like no views. So then I shared a link on Reddit and they dogged me on Reddit. They were like, this is trash. Yeah, I mean, the comment, it's what you'd expect.
It's brutal,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so a part of me got a little mad, but then I was like, they're right. I can make this better. And so I spent the next year or so trying to, make it better and download a video editor. I ended up buying a laptop. And so I started offering, I had bought the domain for my photography. Mm-hmm. So I had a website that people could go to. And it was really only family and friends. It was just, oh, my mom's church friend, she needs somebody for this. Or So I just did that. I did that for about a year or so. And one day I started to get into food photography, which I know this is a long story and I apologize.
I'm fascinated by it actually to where it is now.
So my buddy Gary, he's a retired Navy guy, and he started doing food marketing for restaurants. He happened to have one of my wife and I, our favorite restaurants, an Italian restaurant. And he happened to have them as a client. And I bumped into him and we started talking. And he was like, hey, I might need some content. I want some behind the scenes. And so I was like, okay, well, I was like, you don't have to pay me, but you got to teach me. And so he taught me all about lighting. He taught me about composition. And I really dove. If you scroll back to the beginning of my Instagram, it's food and product photography.
Interesting.
I thought that was,
I've never been that deep in it.
Yeah, dude, it's a rabbit hole. And so I shot with him for a little bit, did some projects with him. And ended up working with a food stylist. Ended up doing a photo shoot her husband had a business. Ended up doing some shoots for them. Okay. And I was like, man, I really want to do video, but I want my Instagram to be professional. I want it to be my food photography portfolio. And so I was like, well, I could probably just download TikTok. TikTok's not going to be around much longer and I can just delete it if I don't like it.
Right on.
So I downloaded TikTok. And I was posting some of my photo shoots, some behind the scenes stuff, and some of my food composition and everything else. And it really wasn't doing well. It wasn't doing anywhere near what and Instagram. I think I maybe made up to 4,000 followers.
Okay,
and
it's pretty good.
It's not bad. But that's all off of the strength of a food stylist and food photography who've been established.
Right.
And so. I started sharing on TikTok, and one day I don't even remember what it was. In my law enforcement career, there are people that I make fun of. Mm-hmm. I got really good at making fun of people.
Yeah, you're a pro.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to sling my rifle. I'm going to go out into the yard, and I'm going to shoot a video pretending to be who these guys think they are.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I used to post. I'd probably post like around 5 or 6 around dinner time. And I'd post, and I'm not glued to my phone by any means. And I would post and kind of put my phone on the nightstand and go about my day. And by this time, we had our 3rd kid. We were homeschooling the kids. And I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, my wife had come home from work. So she was stay-at-home mom. So there was a lot going on with the kids. And my youngest kid she's got the most attitude out of anybody in the house.
Pistol?
Yeah.
I know all about
Well,
that.
she's in competition with the dog now. So, so I posted it and I had dinner, and then I think we put the kids to bed, and I ended up going to bed, and I started getting texts. I don't get text messages.
Okay.
I don't give out my number a lot. I really don't. So I don't get text messages. I get a text from my buddy Renzo, which he was part of the street photography group. He was like, "Bro, you're going viral." And I looked at it. I remember I was kind of tired. I looked at it. I was like, "Going viral?" I was like, "Yeah, right, whatever." He's playing around. So I set my phone down, went back to bed. Woke up the next day to 4,000 followers overnight on TikTok.
4,000?
4,000 followers overnight.
Okay, so yeah, the power of that platform to do that is, I mean, until they turned it off, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. And then the comments and everything else. And then so I ended up texting him. I was like, "Dude, did you share this?" He was like, "No, I don't know how to share stuff on here." He was like, I just commented and text you. And so I was like, "Oh crap, I'm on to something." So then I started that day that I got, or it was the day after I got that text message, I started posting every day. And my goal was to shoot the highest quality that I could and post the highest quality TikTok post. Now, keep in mind, this hadn't bled over to my Instagram yet.
Okay.
And so that's where I kind of dove into like the whole sniper thing. And and I was kind of like, do I want to talk about my military career? Do I want to tell people who I am?
You have decisions to make.
Yeah. And so came up with, my character, my persona. And I did that. I think it was about 4 months that I posted every day. It might have been, plus or minus 2 months. And my wife was like, "You should carry this over to your Instagram." And at this time, I still had inquiries for photography. So what I did was I was like, okay, I kind of married the two, because the two don't really talk that well.
No.
And so I kind of married the two and started getting photo clients. Well, I ended up, a buddy of mine's a long range shooter. He works for Euro Optic up in Pennsylvania. And we'd go up there every 4th of July. And so we were just talking. He's like, "Dude, I love your content. All the guys at the shop love your content." I was like, "Dude, if you know anybody that needs photos, let me know." So I ended up using his range and shooting a bunch of stuff on his range. And one of my favorite videos, I don't know if I ever posted it on Instagram, it's me riding around on a golf cart, setting up targets.
That one, man.
So, so I end up booking this sniper competition out in like Southwest Virginia.
Okay.
And they were like, "Yeah, we'll take care of you. You just come out here and shoot content for us." And I had a drone, I had a gimbal, I had the whole nine, and I shot so much. And it was cool because now I'm kind of attaching myself to the actual gun community. And some of these long range guys, these are guys that I know just from my personal life. And so they were like, "Oh, you're here. What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this." And they're like, "Well, you want to shoot?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to shoot." So the best of everything all rolled into one. And I wish I could say that turned out great. But I had some issues because I had never exported and sent an album. So I tried to mail them a jump drive.
Oh, nice.
And of course, somewhere in the mix, someone cut it open and took the jump drive out. Then I ended up meeting with the match coordinator, and it turned into the thing where they started talking about, recouping what they spent and taking me to court. It just turned into a nightmare. But at that competition, I hit 5,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
And so from there...
That's a milestone yet.
Yeah.
Ticks things up a bit.
So from there on Instagram, I think it was about 7 months, I posted every day on Instagram, and it just snowballed. It snowballed, and here we are.